We have some interesting news to talk about. Battlebots competitor Deep Six, of course, the one we saw in the prior episode. It's unfortunately not the best of news, as we may have seen the last of Deep Six for quite a while. We're talking about all of that and everything we know about the Deep Six news here at the Combot Collective, so stay tuned.
Oh my God! Wow! This is the biggest flame we've ever seen.
Has preserved enough energy to get in the flip on Combot. We're going to go all the way.
睇咗，繼續喺度灰幕場，我哋會跳啦！
Oh my God! That's going to hurt. Grab the milk, Kenny.
Welcome to the Combot Collective.
Hello everybody and welcome to another news episode here at the Combot Collective, bringing you everything you want to know from the world of robot combat, from Battlebots to the live circuit, from heavyweight class to the fleetweight class. I am your host, as always, Sterling Brown. And like I said, we unfortunately have some sad news today here at TCC. You know, we've talked a ton this year about various robots retiring or going on an indefinite absence via their own calls. You know, cases like Duck, Smee, Pain Train have been recent ones we've discussed plenty on our last two Battlebots Champions episodes. But today we are discussing one robot which, while it isn't necessarily retiring, but is certainly not going to be allowed to compete at Battlebots for the foreseeable future, is Team Overboard's and Dustin Esswein's Deep Six. Deep Six, of course, the MVP of the second Battlebots Champions, but as announced on the most recent August 17th episode of Behind the Bots, featuring TCC friend Luke Stengel, of course, shout outs to him, the Deep Six captain would unfortunately announce that Battlebots has declined Deep Six's 2022 Battlebots application and was asked not to apply for future seasons of Battlebots. Now, a lot of people have asked, what is the reasoning? Well, the reason given was it is too damaging to the battle box. And while I am sure that this is Greg and Trey's legitimate reasoning, we've of course seen Deep Six fracture the test box, tear holes into the arena floor multiple times, and even take out the arena lights in a couple instances. But, you know, these are also things that we've seen in incidents from other robots, numerous other robots. We've had damaging the test box, numerous other robots breaking the arena lights this season, last season. Death Roll in 2019 is one of them. And, you know, quite frankly, Tombstone, one of the fan favorites of Battlebots, has felt like a bigger threat to the Battlebox floor than a robot like Deep Six has recently. I mean, of course, Deep Six is guilty of some huge strikes to the arena, maybe some that we don't know about. Another thing we've seen in the past, bringing up Tombstone again, its matchup with Minotaur in 2018, where absolutely sheared near circling the floor, and Gruff in 2019, where an entire Killsaw slot got annihilated in an amazing fight. And with that, I'm not saying that Tombstone needs to go, or any robot needs to go, because this is a sport about damaging. Damaging the arena is not the issue. I get that maintenance is a pain, and taking that time between fight sessions is a pain. But like I said, robots are built to be damaging, and this new version of the arena floor that was so hyped up was supposed to be built to survive these kinds of weapons, which makes this ordeal somewhat frustrating to fans, and I'm sure it's very frustrating to Team Overboard. And, you know, like I said, given what we've just seen in the most recent Battlebots episode, Deep Six's MVP run taking out Huge and Shatter, you know, this is a bad time for this kind of news. But despite this has not deterred Dustin Esswein, who would later go on to say on that podcast episode that Team Overboard will still intend to compete at this year's Battlebots with a different, just as damaging heavyweight design. But what kind of robot that may be is not yet known to the robot combat world, and, you know, of course we've seen Team Overboard make some really crazy things in the past, you know, such as the very first version of Deep Six, the 60-pound version which competed at RoboGames 2018, one of the fan favorites at that event. And, you know, most notably as of late, one of the big star 30-pounders of this year, Death Charge, who has become pretty much the Deep Six of Norwalk Havoc by damaging their arena with their own use of vicious horizontal power. Nobody's going to forget that matchup versus James. It might be the robot combat moment of the year when it's all said and done. But, you know, if we were to see some version of Depth Charge compete in Battlebots 2022, 2023, whatever it may be, I would be absolutely elated. But whatever comes out of the creative minds of Dustin Esswein and Team Overboard will most absolutely be something to seriously watch out entering the Battlebots for years to come. Now, a couple other things worth noting here is that Dustin added he would not be captaining Team Overboard if they do get into the 2022 season with whatever robot they have in mind. being sidelined for the foreseeable future due to having twins. Of course, this is the same issue he has with the 2022 NHRL Finals. So it will be the same substitute team, I would imagine. And lastly, ending on a high note here, this hopefully won't be the full end of Deep Six as we know it. Dustin would also add near the end of the episode that he does have a much refined version of Deep Six planned and catted. Now, there was a bit of a tease on what may be NHRL heavyweight action in the future, but really that's just speculation. Though, anywhere that could be a new home for Deep Six, Norwalk Havoc, Robo Games, maybe a new competition somewhere else in the U.S. or elsewhere in the world, it would be absolutely fantastic. I'd love to see it. But, adding to what I said already earlier in this episode, it's just absolutely frustrating to see this. I mean, it's been a very good season so far. No drama, nothing too crazy. There were a few eyebrow-raising incidents in episode 3, but it was still a fantastic episode here. But, this is just frustrating, I get one situation like with the Helichopper incident. That robot clearly was trying to do some crazy stuff with the tethered hammers and the hinged blades and weapon fires. It was just a recipe for disaster. But we've seen Deep Six now in what I believe is, 7, 8, 9 career fights. And, it's taken out the arena lights a couple times, like I said. We've had some huge shardings in the floor. I think, in fact, one is actually visible during episode 3. But these are repaired, and I'm sure, extra 10 minutes, 20 minutes inside the arena between fights. But that's to be expected when you come to a robot combat event, is that there's not just going to be that, that 1, 2, 3 layover between each fight. There's a reason why it's 10 fights in 4 hours. This stuff takes a while, unfortunately. It just comes with live sports. But ultimately, I do really hope that this isn't the end of Deep Six. With what Dustin Esswein said, and there's been plenty of rumors in the past about Norwalk Havoc going to the heavyweight class, trying to make something to help Battlebots up their game, and maybe we'll finally see that there. They're very familiar with very powerful spinners from Dustin Esswein, of course, like we talked about, the depth charge. So they know how to make an arena be safe and well protected. I would love to see a big ass arena like that in the House of Havoc. Their 38-pound arenas are beautiful, but seeing a big one like that would be also nice. But I'm getting off topic here. Ultimately, though, I really hope this isn't the last for Team Overboard. I'm super excited to see what may come for a Team Overboard heavyweight, a second heavyweight in their ranks for this upcoming season of Battlebots. And like I said, I really do hope it is a depth charge clone. But whatever they have in mind should be fantastic. Maybe they want to tackle a new weapon like a lifter or a hammer, maybe a crusher. They have some brilliant minds on that team that Dustin has been able to recruit that will likely captain the bot in the future seasons. But for now, we're just going to have to wait and see. That's all the Deep Six news we have, though. It's not a lot, but it is definitely something worth noting. Looks like Deep Six is done in Battlebots, and not by their own choice. We have a bot that Battlebots is officially outlawed or unofficially outlawed. I don't want to upset anyone or ruffle any feathers with some incorrect statement here, but It's a frustrating situation. It's an odd situation. It's definitely a unique situation here for Deep Six. But that's going to wrap it up here for TCC News. I am Sterling Brown, as always. You can find me on Instagram at SterlingTXTG. And you can find the Combot Collective on Instagram and Facebook in the description below. Please give them a follow. You can also find our Discord channel in the description below. That's where all of our YouTube video upload news comes out first. And, of course, for the YouTube, please give us a subscribe, hit that bell icon, give us a like, give us a comment, give us your feedback, whether it be good or bad. We're always trying to make TCC a better show for all of y'all here. Thank you, though, so much for watching this TCC Combot Collective news episode here, talking about Deep Six and Battlebots. And we will see you next time for more Battlebots Champions videos and even more Battlebots news.
This was the Combot Collective. Find us on Instagram and Discord.